What is going on, Busy Bariatrics? I'm Rob, your favorite VSG man turned bariatric coach, and today I'm joined by two of the best coaches in the bariatric world. We have Lisa and Kylie from our team. Stacy would be here, but she's under the weather, or because the Patriots lost against the Bills. But this is recording in the future, so it really doesn't matter. We're kicking off this episode on January 1st because this is the season where everyone is screaming New Year, New Me while ignoring the habits, patterns, and behaviors that actually build results. Here we rock with New Year's same beat. We have the same mission, same habits, same alignment, ready to make this the strongest bariatric year ever. So let's get gritty, let's get honest, and let's get busy. Lise, Kylie, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
It went by so fast.
What's that, Kylie?
It went by so fast.
I know. It's like we fast forwarded 2 weeks and we went all the way through the holidays. Do we have New Year's Eve plans at this point in our life?
We stay home and we make a little spread on the coffee table and we just sit there and I don't know. It's like the same thing that we do every night, but we usually get like something nice for dinner.
That's a good deal. Kylie, what does New Year's Eve look like for the Hansens?
Boy, we don't usually make it past like 10:30 if I'm being honest, but
which is late for you.
Yes, it is late for me. We're still in like the thick of like parenting, right? So it's like we'll get there one day when our kids are older. We'll get back into like those prime years where we like go out and party and stay up and we're like fun. But right now, sleep is I'm fine with just sleeping.
If I'm gambling on this, we do like the 6:00 fireworks in Camden, and you kind of have to get out of Camden by 6:30 for the fireworks. And then we kind of do this one-word challenge where we paint our word or our mantra for the year. So if you're listening to this episode within this week, message me and you'll have whatever my one word is. The one word I probably want to go to with this year, I probably can't put on the podcast, but we're gonna pick a family-friendly word that we're gonna paint and put up on the walls. With that in mind, like end of the year, how was your year and what are you looking most forward to in 2026?
I feel like my year was all over the place, just with pregnancy, right? Like postpartum, school, all of the things. It was busy, but it was productive. I like using the word productive more than I like using busy because I got a lot accomplished, right? I feel like I had plans, I worked towards those plans, but I feel like overall it was a good year for me.
What would you say your number one highlight of this year was?
Lisa, you go, and then I'm going to come back.
It's probably the birth of your child, right?
Well,
I would hope birth of third.
Or New Orleans.
I mean, okay, but like
literally anything would be a right answer, Kylie.
I know, but like I'm that mom that's like birth isn't fun. Like it's not rainbows and butterflies for all of us. So like that might not have been my favorite moment of the year. I mean, her being here is great.
Yeah, so getting a kid, big win. Maybe not the actual childbirth. So
yeah, but New Orleans.
Okay, yes, and New Orleans was good too. For those of you who don't know, Kylie went to her first bariatric event in New Orleans where she led the workouts because I only had one arm and did an amazing job. You were also in school, for those who don't know, Kylie, for
nuclear medicine.
There we go. And then I had your third child. So Frankie is coming into the world and it's all good from there. Lise, highlight of your year.
Oh, goodness. I mean, it was super fun to run around St. Louis with Stacy and to meet our clients and always to hang out with you.
I think that's the proper hierarchy of how it kind of goes. Like hang out with bestie,
it's not being real.
Go meet people and then like spend quality time with your boss. I totally get it.
And, my daughter got married this year, which was kind of a big one for us, too.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, Lisa hosted her first workout in St. Louis in First Form's gym. So definitely the biggest venue we had. To sell it out twice is pretty impressive, where we had an initial run of tickets and they went so quickly that some of our clients couldn't get it. Some of the other people couldn't get it. So we had to expand it and we were able to sell it out twice, which was an amazing deal. In hindsight, I forgot that weekend I came in for like the opening night and then I flew back for the daddy-daughter dance and then I flew back again the following day so that we could get everything together. So absolutely insane.
Dad duties, right?
Yeah, so it comes with the territory. But I think this year was pretty cool. We had our best summer camp ever. We are at our highest number of clients ever. When we look at it like from a professional standpoint, we also increased our workout video library, which we were able to get, where we now have 300 YouTube videos to check form. We have our online learning portal, Thrive Inside the Hive, got put up. Like 2025 was a pretty amazing year. So definitely some of the highlights that we had. I also tore my bicep and lost my dad, but like, you take the good, you take the bad. It's definitely a roller coaster of a year, which I think a lot of our clients can agree with. So if they are listening to this and they have just gotten through survival mode in December, which I feel like the three of us, when we talk every day, is like, here's 5 activities we didn't really want to do, but kind of has to go on. How do you start to take the approach of like, okay, we're out of the woods of the holidays. How do we make sure that we get back into the habits to make us successful?
Start small. I feel like that's my answer for a lot of things is don't go into it with an all or nothing mentality, which to me is like a huge red flag. And it's also something that I've struggled with and still work on to this day, because anytime I go into anything or I see other people going into, like January, or they're coming out of a struggle season, having that all or nothing mentality is just going to put you right back at square one, right? So start small, pick 1 or 2 habits that you need to work on. Maybe it's drinking your water and getting your steps, but just gradually increase those as you progress.
Yeah, I definitely think when we hear a lot of people, it becomes this idea of like, I've been off or on or good or bad. And the idea of like going 0 to 60 just really leads to some really big troubles in our bariatric journeys, our fitness journeys. And many times I think it is just being very realistic. If we're saying like, look, we're going to work out 5 times a week, we're going to eat chicken, broccoli, and a can of Diet Air, you might be able to do that. But if you have been slamming cookies and living in the fast food lane and not really tracking your nutrition, and then on top of that, you haven't gone to the gym consistently for more than once every couple weeks, you're probably going to put your body through the ringer. So Lise, what are some things we can do physically to make sure that we are not going full steam and probably injuring ourselves coming into January?
Yeah. So you may need to go through if you really have been super inconsistent about the gym, you may need to go through the process of figuring out your weights again. We want you, when we're lifting, we want to be at a weight that's challenging, but not going to kill us. And that number may have changed if you haven't been in the gym in a couple of months. So I would rather see you drop your weights than kill yourself. Because if you injure yourself trying to like ego lift, then you're going to be out of the gym even more. So it's really a good time, beginning of the year, to like look at your schedule and be really realistic about what you can do, how many days you can get to the gym. If you don't have a program that you're working with, now might be a good time to like look into working with somebody. I'm a big decision fatigue person. So, and it's why I actually came to Rob and started with the Busy Bariatrics program, is because I want to walk into the gym and I don't want to think about it. I want to open my app. I want to see what my day is and then just do it. So really, you just have to figure out what's going to work for you realistically and long term.
I think it's one of the best benefits of working with a coach, because Adam will come into the gym and we've been lifting together for 3 years and I've been working with Eric for 3 years. And it's always the same question. Like, what are we doing today? I'm like, I'll know when I open the app. Like, this is kind of how I do, but it also is kind of the best way to kind of move is I don't have to think about it. I have it automated and it just works for a lot of aspects, I think, where when you start to regulate and just automate it, it makes it 100 times easier. There's a reason why I own the same pair of pants in 6 colors, so that if I get a stain on one, I still have Monday to Friday at work, or that I eat the same. Let's just be honest. Like, it's like, I know that
I've eaten the same breakfast for 3 years.
Exactly.
Like, and everybody in Busy Bariatrics knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kylie, one thing you do every day consistently outside of brushing teeth?
Drink a hot cup of coffee in the morning.
Works perfect. So you get your caffeine in and get started with that. So
yeah.
I think a lot of the times, like, we overthink a lot of our processes, and January exposes that really well. So getting that time to really get into the calendar, get a look at what you can do, see the last time you lifted, get your numbers together. Going back to prior to bariatric surgery, what was your New Year? What did your New Year's Day look like?
I famously would join a gym. And then because I'm of this age and I'm, I would like get on the elliptical trainer and just live there for like approximately a month and a half before I slowly stopped being on the elliptical trainer.
The good 45-day thing. Did you actually join a gym on January 1st?
Maybe not January 2nd. Pretty like I'm just as guilty as everybody else pre-bariatric surgery of being like, this is the year I'm going to get it all together. And this is the year I'm going to lose all the weight. And I've lost quite a bit of weight several times prior to bariatric surgery, but I had bariatric surgery. So you see how that works.
I think it's always funny because I would, even if I had like the best routines on whatever diet or exercise regimen, I would hit like December 24th and be like, okay, I am going to eat and drink the most amount possible and just wait for whatever the next year Rob will deal with that. And if I even showed just a small bit of moderation, I probably would have been up 5 pounds on January 1st. But January 1st always started with like, I'm going to go train fasted because I've eaten and drank. I'm entirely hungover on January 1st. And next thing you know, I'm like in the fetal position, sore or injured by like 10 a.m. the next morning going out. Now it's just like I get into the gym and get started. Kylie, New Year's for you prior to bariatric surgery.
I feel like before bariatric surgery, I just didn't pay attention to any of that. Like anything health related, I didn't pay attention to, whether it was January 1st or the middle of the year. Like it wasn't a priority of mine. And I think it was just because I didn't know how to make it a priority of mine. I remember being one of those people that would like scroll social media. And if someone posted something along the lines of, this one thing helped me lose 50 pounds, I would be like, oh yeah, like let's try it, right? But it's never just that one thing, right? You read about it and then you find there's like 10 other things and then it's like, oh no, I'm not doing that. Like now that's too much, right? And so I was more of I just didn't pay attention and I just didn't care about just health at all. Isn't it wild?
It is kind of crazy when you talk to the three of us of how January 1st really was this like almost come to reckoning moment of I need to get my life together or how little we knew about fitness or nutrition. And now we're thriving years after bariatric surgery where we help others. And I think the best way we set that example is in Busy Bariatrics, we really don't say New Year, New Me. It's New Year, Same B. We work on a lot of our habit building right at the end of summer camp. And I feel bad. This is the only time I let habits bleed because I am very much like September is back to school, October is Halloween, November is Thanksgiving. But Christmas and the holidays really do start in September for us of we need to start using these months as practice months so that even when you get to December, you've built enough of a like momentum that you're even surviving and advancing for most of December and you come into January knowing how to lift, knowing how to do everything. How does New Year, Same B show up for the two of you?
I feel like for me, and I'm going to kind of one of our clients, I'm going to have a full circle moment. So just give me a second. But one of our clients recently posted something on her social media and it said something along the lines of, if you can get through the holiday seasons, then you can absolutely make it through January, February, March, April, right? Like the end of the year is always the best time to start because you want a plan that allows the chaos and you want a plan that allows all of these setbacks that happen because that's what life is about, right? If your plan doesn't work when life is happening, then you're never going to build consistency. And so I feel like with the whole, New Year, Same B, nothing's really changing for me. I feel like I'm ending the year in a way that I'm proud of and I've built habits and I've really worked on my mindset this year, which is a huge, like Thrive Inside the Hive has truly saved my postpartum journey because my mindset has been not in the best of places. And I feel so great right now, mentality wise. And so I feel like going into the new year, I'm literally a Same B. I might change like my processes here and there, but like I'm carrying everything with me into the new year. I'm not like starting anything, going from 0 to 100. None of that is happening for me.
No, it's not shiny object syndrome. And like, I mean, that's the thing, that's the pit that you fall into, right? You're like you were saying, you open up the magazine and it's like the 3 things I did to lose 50 pounds in the new year. And you know what? You can lose a little weight with anything if you apply it consistently.
Right.
but you're not hitting goals. Like you're not improving your physique, you're not improving your health.
Right.
You're just doing some fad thing that takes off a little weight. So we've established, like Rob was saying, we've established these habits, we've established our non-negotiables, and we're just returning to our non-negotiables. Like you keep doing the stuff that works, and that's dialing in your nutrition, it's lifting, it's showing up for yourself every day.
It really is a good combination, that, and it's a good time to kind of segment, because that's the next thing on our outline, is going through the busy method and thinking of like, if we could get our clients to focus on one thing for the entire year for each part of the busy method. Let's just go through and see what would each one of us want to focus. So the B is for building habits. If you could get all of your clients to build this one habit, what would it be? I can go first if it gives you two a little bit of time to kick. For me personally, if it could be one habit, it would just be look at your calendar in advance. Like really take a look at, okay, it's January 1st. Do you have a calendar? It's the biggest thing I think that holds people back. And the answer is usually no. It's like, okay, let's start to put those in. And then really start to look at like, where do I have my boulders, rocks, and pebbles? Like the big problems, the medium problems, and the small things that we have to move around and make your schedule together. I think habit building starts in the calendar and works from there. I did steal the best answer. So now the two of you are kind of stuck taking whatever you think is next.
I'm going to say journaling because, and you guys know I'm a huge mindset person, but if you have an issue and it's going on in your head, or you've got all of these thoughts that are jumbled, they stay in your head. And I always say thoughts in your head, stay in your head. If you get your thoughts out on a piece of paper, your thoughts can become a plan. But if I have a thought about something that I'm struggling with, I guarantee you within 2 seconds, one of my kids I felt like kids was a more appropriate word than the word that I was going to use. They're coming to me and, Mom, I need this. Mom, hey, Mom. And then whatever I was just thinking about, it's gone. Right? But if I can sit down for 5 minutes and I can just write out the things that I'm struggling with, the things that I'm frustrated about, what went great with my day, what went awful with my day, that way I can go back, I can read that, and I can say, okay, now it's on paper. I can physically see it. Now, how do I make this into a plan to be better for tomorrow? So if my habit for all of my clients, it would be journaling.
I love that. And I think when we really look at journaling, it's not necessarily like you're sitting on your belly on your bed with your feet up doing like, Dear Diary, today I was sad. I think a lot of the times it really is how you explained it, Kylie, of this idea of like, what do I have to do? And even just writing a to-do list can be important. Going back to the calendar, like writing out or even typing out, here is what I have to get done in the week. Another one that I don't think people really think, like just doing your budget of like, here is the money in and going out. That kind of like writing it through the process that you're talking about, I really do think lowers the level of anxiety that often gets overlooked. And when we do that gentle tweak with clients, it causes such a big difference. And I love that, Anne. Lise?
Yeah. So mine is really being solution oriented. Our number one rule in busy bariatrics is we don't sit in our issues. And a lot of time people think that means like we tell everybody what's bothering us. Now, it's all well and good and, whatever. Call your mom, tell her whatever you want. But the next question is the more important one, which is what are you going to do about it? And I would really love it if everybody just sort of asked themselves that question when they were feeling mad, sad, whatever, having big feelings and things aren't going the way that you want. So what's going to change? Because if nothing changes, nothing changes.
So much good there. And I think that's why it's the first tenet of busy bariatrics is we don't sit in our issues. When it was just me opening up the doors, I think we had like 6 clients right off the bat, and it started to have this feeling of that I'd see in other support groups or other groups where it's like, we're just kind of complaining. I'm like, no, it's how do we make the action? And I know it makes our coaches, we really do try to hold our vibe in the hive accountable, and our senior Bs and our OGBs all do a great job of saying like, look, we get you're going through a problem. If you come in here, you better be asking for help on finding a solution, or here's what I'm trying to do to get out of it. And I think that's like the sincerest way we show love in busy bariatrics is the fact that like, we don't want you to sit or fall behind. It's how do we keep you getting better? So, Lise, I'll give you the opportunity since you answered first. We're getting to the U. If we could have the bariatric community or our clients know one thing about nutrition for 2026, what should it be?
Really, I think it's that you have to understand that each part of your diet, your protein, your carbohydrates, your fat, they all serve purposes in your body. So there is no demonizing to carbs or fat. Your brain needs fat to function. Your carbs give you energy. Like every single thing that you put in your body is changed into energy. Now, if you are taking in more and your body is not using all that energy, it's going to get stored. But everything serves a purpose and everything has like optimal amounts.
No, absolutely important. And I think it's comical because we will hear people say, not our clients because they know better, but outside and like random non-clients will say, well, the carbs in a banana are bad. And it's like, well, no, there's no bad carb. This is exactly how it works. Or if I have too much fruit, it's sugars. And it's like, I promise you, if I go through your tracker, I will find 3 or 4 more things that probably are causing a bigger issue for your caloric surplus. Or even worse, it's what you're not putting on the track.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You'll see like people complaining about an apple or a banana, but those are a lot of times the same people who will have chocolate chip cookies or some alcohol beer. Yeah, like so it's yeah.
And look, there's a place for everything.
Yeah.
And especially going, when we're going into the holidays, we always say to our clients, like, we want you to enjoy the things that are special to you because that's living your life. Like, this is not a diet. This is a lifestyle. So there's a place for everything. And if you are, I saw that face. If you are going someplace and you want to have a milkshake, have a milkshake. But like, be aware of what goes around it. Like, what does the rest of your day look like? What is tomorrow?
Yeah, I think absolutely. It's important that you have reason and season. That's probably 3 or 4 more episodes we will go into throughout the year, but always that important. Kylie, go.
Okay, I'm going to kind of take a different approach. But Lisa, yours was great and I loved it, which is why I'm taking this approach. Tracking your nutrition can be one of the biggest game changers if you let it. I have had clients that I've worked with in the past who would say things like, tracking is toxic for me. Seeing these numbers is toxic for me. And I get it because I've also been there, but that's a you problem. Like that's a problem that you need to fix with your relationship with food, because food is numbers. Like that's what food is, right? And whenever you can start looking at food and tracking your food as data, your plan that your coaches can curate for you is going to blow you out of the water. Because if your nutrition is ultimately what drives the scale, and we all know it is, then, and we're guessing about what you're eating, then you're kind of guessing on what's working and what's not working, right? And so I would love to honestly just challenge anybody who has this mentality of like, I hate tracking and tracking's not for me and tracking doesn't work. It's not the tracking that doesn't work. It's your relationship with food that's not working.
100%.
I always say when I see someone who's like, oh, I don't have time to track, and I'm like, could I see the screen time on your phone? And that always shuts it down. And it's like, I see it all the time of just, you either have a relationship issue with food or you're not really using it or it gets overwhelming. And, like, at the end of the day, like, it comes down to calories in, calories out. Even though, the internet will tell you it's 18 different things with like, oh, it's your cortisol, or like, because of your hormones, like you cannot lose a single pound of weight. And we've helped our clients through high stress points, through perimenopause, through postpartum, like almost anything that can cause some sort of factor towards weight loss or weight gain does not mean that it negates the fact that you have to have more calories going in if you want to build muscle than going out, or more calories going out than in if you want to lose fat. So it's very simple with that. My U for understanding nutrition is just, it's more of what you do maybe 330 days a year than it is like the other 35. So like, stop trying to be perfect on Christmas, stop trying to be perfect on New Year's Day, or like if you haven't really done the work those other days, like now is not the first time to start. And I see it all the time. I'm going to have like a cucumber for the Super Bowl party. It's like, you haven't tracked a macro in months, and all of a sudden now you're going to track like when the Eagles are playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, it's a horrible idea.
But they're also not going to track the jalapeno pop.
Well, you get a little bit of a vegetable in there. So again, jalapeno popper has protein, carb, and fat all together. Popper. All right, this is a very important question. Cream cheese or cheddar for the jalapeno popper?
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
You're both wrong. Moving forward, let's get to staying. No, you are. Like, we'll just.
There are two of us, and there's one of you, so again, it's clear to us who's wrong.
I make the rules of the game, so we'll move on. Kylie, favorite way to stay active outside of resistance training, or you know what? Or favorite workout inside of resistance training, if you want to go.
Okay, I'm going to go with your first one. Honestly, I'm going to be so boring and basic, and I'm going to say walking, because anybody can do it. Well, you get what I'm saying. If you are able to walk, then you should be walking. A lot of people will, come up with reasons why walking or getting 10,000 steps a day is hard. I get it. We are all busy. We have desk jobs, whatever it is, but finding ways to incorporate movement outside of the gym is really important, really important. And so walking is the one I'm going to go with, because it's simple. You don't have to think about a lot. You just have to do it.
I think it's a really good lesson is when I tore my bicep, that was literally all I could do. And I was able to shave 7 pounds off post-surgery just by dialing in the nutrition. And when everyone's like, well, what did you do to your step goal? It's like, well, I'm a 10,000 step goal a day person from jump. And as you build it into a habit, you really learn to like not even notice it. But we really only gently increased it to 14,000, which seems like a lot for some people. But if you're already doing 10K, an extra 4 is really just another 30 minutes. And for me, it was like, I'm going to take a walk and go and do that. Least favorite way to stay active or favorite exercise in the gym?
Oh, you know what my favorite exercise is? I like a squat. I like a good Smith machine back squat. Like that's my jam. That is my heaviest lift.
Always a good one. For me, it's funny because with the bicep tear and everything, I'm already stalling out, but my physical therapist is actually a power lifter and competes in nationals. And she's actually quite good. So she had me start to do deadlifts, which I absolutely abhor, but I didn't realize like you have to hold so much on that distal bicep tendon that it really is like a good example of how you can have a cable on that. And it also reminds me that sometimes the exercises we don't want to do are the ones that actually get us the greatest results. And that's actually what cleared me from physical therapy, because my bicep exercises were about par for where they were before, but being able to deadlift 315 was pretty much the graduating move, because it showed how much we had strengthened the muscle around there to get in there. And that's just my shameless plug of being able to say I deadlifted 315 2.5 months after.
Should I be like dropping my squat numbers, being like I can squat 255?
No, yeah. I mean, we should always be constantly putting it on. I almost wish you could have like the big three of when you had people, meet for fitness things. And that would give you like a better idea of the numbers and go with it. But anywho, we're getting into how do we show up for ourselves for the new year. This one is always so unique and fun, and I actually love to see how the clients do it because of the uniqueness of it. But how are we showing up for ourselves in the new year?
I feel like we have to get curious with ourselves, right? I love waking up in the morning because, like you said, how we show up for ourselves is going to change from day to day. That's just what we have to do. I like waking up and, yes, looking at my calendar, like Rob was saying earlier, there's an importance for having your calendar, perfected. But I want to ask myself every morning, how am I showing up for myself today? What does that look like? And yes, I do have to look at my calendar, and I might have to look at, certain other things that are going on in my day to help me determine how I am able to show up for myself that day, because it might not be the gym based on whatever else I have going on in the day, or it might be the gym, or maybe it's a pedicure, right? Maybe it's going to therapy. There are different things that you can do to show up for yourself. One of the things I have encouraged my clients in the past is have different categories of how you show up for yourself. One is your physical health, one is your mental health, and one is just for fun, right? Like a pedicure could be a fun way that you show up for yourself. Mental health for me, that's therapy, journaling, getting something on paper. The other one could be getting my groceries situated so that I can better meal plan for my physical goals, right? But having 3 different ways to show up for yourself can be super helpful.
Perfect, please.
One of the things that I tell my clients and I do myself is just making sure that you block out that time for yourself. And like Kylie said, there are a million different ways to show up for yourself, but unless you make the time in your day to show up for you, and that's something that, like, if you put it in stone, and you know what, it's fine. Like, you can tell everybody in your life that you love them and you want to spend time with them and they're great, but you do need an hour for yourself, and write it on your calendar. It's not selfish. Self-care is not selfish.
Love it. And I'm going to piggyback on that. I think just advocating for yourself is the best way to show up for yourself. So going back to, like, it's not just knowing you need an hour from people. It's saying something as simple as like, hey, I'd love to do that. My schedule's already overwhelming me. Can we kick it back another month? Or, January 1st, we're in the middle of a college bowl season for football, and NFL playoffs start. And for me, that's a way I connect with a lot of my friends. It's not just, watching the games. It's what are we eating? What are we drinking? How are we moving? So just simple things of saying like, hey, like my weight is a little bit up right now, or like I have the goal of I want to get my body fat percentage in something. I'll be the designated driver for this one, and then back off of it. Simple ways like that. Okay, we're at the exclamation point, which is healthy sources of dopamine. Let's make it like a little bit fun because it's been a minute. What is a healthy source of dopamine that you use that people might not expect from you?
Rage music.
Always a good one. Give a little bit of detail on that, Kylie. Like, what is your playlist?
Okay, so Atreyu is like top 3. I know but it's one of the types of musics that gets me in this like different headspace. And that's like the music that I need to pump myself up to be ready for like a heavy lift. It makes me feel powerful, right? I don't know. That's just what it does for me. But then you'll see me going to church and I'm like singing church hymns, and like that puts me in the spiritual mood. But then I leave and I'm singing with Miss Rachel. And so I'm like, oh, it's the best mom stuff, right? So it's like different types of music does different things for me. But regardless, it helps me with that dopamine stuff. And so for me, like Atreyu, I really loved, it's been like 5 years since I've listened to them, but they're the first people that popped into my head. Five Finger Death Punch. Is that what they're called? Like, they're decent. Go ahead, Lisa. It's fine.
No, I love you.
So like stuff like that, I feel like just really gets me going.
Say I'd never heard of Atreyu before talking to you, Kylie, and I always have this image where I'm like, okay, well, Kylie, I know you're Mormon. I know like you have this like Texas / SoCal kind of like very laid back vibe. And when you mentioned the first time, like, yeah, my favorite band is Atreyu, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me hop on the Apple Music and see what this is. And I just was like, oh, this is the most popular song, and I hit play, and I was like, what the hell is this? Because I was just not expecting that at all. So
yeah,
please,
it's my rage.
we all get our part. It's like that mom in Monsters Inc. where she waits outside the Scream Factory and she's like, I'll wait for you. And then she hits the button and it's literally death metal that's playing nonstop. So you're embracing the full level there. Lise.
I really, really love trash TV. And I'm going to give Kylie credit for this because Kylie suggested Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And so that's like in the rotation now. But like my happy dopamine like Sunday is watching trash TV, knitting with my dog in my lap, and like that's it.
That's your happy place.
I will say Kylie might be the worst influence on the coaching staff when it comes to either television or like, you should try this. I want to say during like my bicep, she knows where I'm going too with this. When I was like, look, I'm finally going to watch television now that like I have to be in a recliner for 8. I don't watch TV. I don't have the time. But she was like, you should watch Suits. Or I think she pretty much said I was like Lewis from Suits, which as I watched 3 or 4 episodes, I realized that was not a compliment at all in this. Yes, I know. Thank you, Kylie. So But I think there's something to say if like the beauty of Suits is kind of like each episode is very procedural. Like you can just get comfortably into it and enjoy it. And until like one of your colleagues says that you're the Lewis Litt of Busy Bariatrics, you know, it's usually a good time.
Listen, I think Lewis is awesome. I love Lewis. But also, did you finish the show and what did you think?
No, I'm saving it. Like we have Christmas break. It's we're going back to indoor cardio. So it's like I stopped at like mid-4 and just because like the NFL kind of takes over like when I do get to watch television. So my goal is I think maybe watch a little bit over the holiday break, but I have to do indoor cardio now. So it is in front of a TV.
Good habit stacking.
It's the only way, real fun habit. I don't watch television seated until I hit my step goal. So if I want to watch the Eagles and I haven't hit my step goal, I'm watching it on the treadmill and then at halftime I'll shower. But it's just a simple way of like making sure that it gets done before I really properly sit.
I love that.
Yeah. With that in mind, we're getting close to our time. And I know at this point, everyone has more New Year's Day stuff. Any last thoughts on New Year's goals for 2026, where you see yourself? I know, at least for me, if somebody had said on January 1st of 2025, this is where you would be January 1st of 2026, I probably would need to be medicated and sedated. Let's just call it what it was. It's been an interesting year, to say the least.
Yeah, if I could say one thing to everybody, it's like no stupid goals. And when I say stupid goals, I mean just a whole basket full of crap that you're going to do starting January 1st. We want SMART goals. We want ones that are measurable and actionable, and you can hold yourself accountable to them. Like, and you know me, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. So like pick one, just one.
Lise, I'm going to put you on the spot. You said SMART goals and you said, I believe, scalable, measurable, actionable. What does the R in SMART goals stand for?
It's
I can tell you what the T is.
Okay, Kylie?
Isn't it like time frame, timeline?
Yeah, it's the timeline.
Okay. R is
Rob's vision of how important it is. When you're making your goals for the new year, you really have to think, would Rob be proud of this goal and how can we make it better? I don't know the R either, so we're just going to say
it's like realistic or achievable. No,
that's like Rob's vision better, but we'll go with realistic.
Rob,
I think how everyone now, if you're watching on YouTube, is going into the screen, which to me says some of you might be typing in what does the R stand for.
I'm not, because I don't care, but I like Rob's vision more than I like anything else. So it stands for Rob's vision.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Kylie, anything to share for as we get into 2026?
Yeah, I think, just ask yourself if you are having a false fresh start, because we don't want that, right? Have a plan, have a coach, hire a coach, someone else who can curate a plan for you. It doesn't matter, but just make sure that whatever plan that you are building for yourself works during the messy moments. It works during the chaotic moments. It's not a plan that is only going to be executed when life is perfect, right? If your plan can only be done when life is calm, then that's probably not a great plan for you. And you should figure out how to put your puzzle pieces together in a different way, because we don't want any false fresh starts. We want starts that have longevity.
The R is relevant, by the way.
I still like Rob better.
I like Rob better, but
yeah.
But now we know in case we're tested in the future.
Well, the best part is we'll probably do another New Year's episode next year, and I'm going to put in Google like this is where I'm insane with Google Calendar. I'm going to put question for New Year's episode, and it's going to be like, let's review SMART goals and see if we just remember what they are on that. So I guess
specific, measurable, achievable,
realistic,
relevant, and time bound.
So I still got it wrong even after you literally just told me and started to go through SMART again.
I'm recording this so that we can refer to it
exactly.
As we prepare for our New Year's episode next year.
Not the worst idea. But anyway, if you're still listening, Busy Bariatrics, this wraps up our first episode of 2026. Just remember that New Year, New Me fades fast. New Year, same B builds the year you want inch by inch with the habits, patterns, and behaviors that say what you want. If you can, screenshot this episode, tag us, tell your people to stop waiting for the calendar to save us. And hey, maybe you put your SMART goal down and you message Lisa or Kylie to give the answers. If you give it to me, I'm just going to tell you need to do it bigger. So with that on mind, have a great rest of your day, year, and keep getting busy.